What is going on, guys and girls? My name is Science, and today we're going to be looking at an interview that just took place a few hours earlier today. Legacy Gaming did this interview with Stefan, the creative director behind Biomutant. Now, I do apologize that this video is coming out later than usual. Usually, I get videos like this out an hour or two after the stuff like this drops, but I was busy today and I had to do some things and help my family out, so we're getting this out a little bit later than usual, but regardless, it's here. So, the first thing that we're going to take a look at is the first question, I should say, is he asked, "What is the Mercenaries class?" Stefan replied, "Basically, shortcutting some of the weapon setup and loot not locked to any other player, but Mercenary unlocks it earlier. More like a loadout, starting weapons and gear and perks such as dual wield, but for example, with Commando, you can unlock dual wield a little later on with skill points, etc." He then went on and said, "Loot is very important. For example, if I start as Commando, but I keep finding sick melee weapons, hence why we didn't unlock anything to any class. You can use it at any weapon at any point. Obviously, you may not have the skill points to use it well, but you can if you want to. Basically, we wanted nothing locked to your character class. We want you to try everything." So right there tells you that, weapons aren't going to be locked to a class, perks aren't going to be locked to a class. You're going to be able to try and combo basically everything in the game together. Which is very good because that means that you're not gonna have to create multiple characters to do multiple playthroughs to try different builds out. You're not gonna because one of the things about this game that I really like is that a lot of other RPGs make it to where if you want to try different builds, stuff like that, it's really hard to just freely swap to them. It's either you lose hours or you lose a lot of investment in your build. This way, you can kind of just keep playing the game. You get cool melee weapons, a respec, and just try it. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to lose multiple hours of playtime to try a different build, which I think is really nice. Let's get into the next question here. Alright, so the next question he asks is loot. We have a wager. Is loot randomized in the world? Stefan replied and said, "Yes, it is randomized, but some parts are not for big, powerful weapons where you have to collect multiple parts that are always in specific locations. But loot is always randomly dropped unless it is shown to you, for example in a locker with the full biohazard you need." So I'm assuming like biohazard suits and stuff like that, then they're like a certain area, certain like story quest items you're gonna actually have to get. It's not gonna be randomized, obviously, because you wouldn't be able to complete the game if it was. But other parts of loot, like guns, I'm assuming, and collecting different parts to craft and melee weapons, all that's going to be fully randomized. But he did went on to say, "A lot of side characters have special rewards like crafting items or weapon types, so talk and explore. Loot boxes that glow a certain color drops weapons of a certain rarity, but may drop a higher rarity, although a very rare chance." So right there is telling us that, we're going to be able to get, we're going to be able to actually see the loot boxes, what kind of color it's going to be. What kind of rarity we're going to get out of the boxes. But we're also going to have a chance of getting a higher tier rarity out of that box. So, which I think is actually pretty cool, because this way it kind of tells you that, like, if you see, if you're already through the game and you already have, like, all purples, or, what I'm saying, you're kind of, like, out of that scenario, if you don't need green no more and you see a green chest, you can kind of be like, well, I really don't need that chest, so I don't have to go out of my way to get it, And early on, you can kind of tell, like, oh, this purple chest, I need to, I need to get this. This is going to be some great loot in here, So, like, you can kind of tell what chests you want to prioritize, or what chest you want to go for, or however you want to play the game, which I actually like. Not a lot of games do that. I can't really recall any that show you the actual rarity of the chest and what it actually has. A lot of this stuff is interesting, like you said, where side characters have special rewards, like crafting items or weapons. So that's going to be interesting to do a lot of the quests and kind of see the crafting items that characters give. So I kind of wonder exactly what all quest items and stuff like that and characters will get, but regardless, it's definitely a cool thing to have, because I hate when games don't let you get rewards from characters, and kind of doing side quests are pointless. So I really like that. Let's get into the next question here. Okay, so the next question he said was, "How does luck work into loot?" Stefan replied, "Yes, the better luck you have, the better the item that drops. For example, there's a loot table with a percentage chance. So if you buff your luck chance, you'll end up you'll end up higher on the loot table. Sorry. Therefore, a better chance at a weapon." So basically, what this is saying is if you don't put any loot chance in it, right, and you go open a chest, you might start at 10%, right, and you have the chance of like rolling 10% all the way up, or something like that, and that'll determine like what rarity you get, kind of like rolling a dice, sorry. But better luck, means you'll start higher on that table. So if you have, just say maxed out luck, you might start 40 to 50% on that table instead of 10%. So that's just basically how luck's gonna play into looting. Let's get into the next question here. So the next question he asks is mounts. Taming in the game? Stefan replied, living creatures, 2 ways of acquiring. Finding the right pip, which is a seed. Find the one that matches the creature when you explore, match system, and that is your mount to use. Shops from tribes can sell their own mounts, so worth exploring each tribe. Story-specific mounts. The side character may or may not give you mounts in certain situations. For example, Soul, a character somewhere in the furthest corner of the map, the character that climbs out of the suitcase, gives you a wicked mount. So here we can kind of see how the different mounts are going to play in, and kind of see that you're actually going to be able to tame mounts. There's going to be mounts specific to tribes, and there's also going to be story-specific mounts. There's going to be a lot of ways to get different mounts and explore, so I'm definitely going to be making videos on that for each specific mount and how to get it, and so on and so forth. Let's get into the next question here. The next question, this is a big one, is he asks community questions from live chat, and one of the questions was, so what does New Game Plus look like? Stefan said, we don't need you to do the first hour again, for example, in New Game Plus. The game is front-loaded once you are past the first hour of the world is completely open. So we skip the first hour in your New Game Plus. PewDiePie's first 4 hours are not representative of everything you can do. So basically what he is saying here is, once you kind of first play through the game, right, and you get done with that hour tutorial, basically, and you get into the open world and you start able to fully explore, when you do that New Game Plus, you're going to be able to instantly go to that point and start from right there when the world opens, so you don't have to go through that tutorial, which is actually really nice because that skips a lot of headache and allows you to just keep that action and that play, action and that pace throughout New Game Plus. He also said that New Game Plus, you can ally with any tribe from the beginning instead of the 2 given options in your first playthrough of that character. 12 to 15 hours for someone who just does a story, nothing else. Based on what PewDiePie did, he took ages to do anything story-based. Because we deliberately try to hook you away from the main story, a casual player may take anywhere from 60 to 100 hours to complete everything. Deviate from the path, explore everything. PewDiePie was drastically under-leveled fighting the big monsters. So here we can kind of see that if you're going to just do story and you're not going to do anything else, it's going to be 12 to 15 hours. If you're going to be a casual player and you're going to kind of, do a lot of side quests plus main story, explore, so on and so forth, it can take you anywhere from 60 to 100 hours, which I think is actually really good. You don't want a short game, you don't want a game where you're going to get in and be done with a few hours. So this way, it gives you multiple things to do, and a good, to me, I know some people say that, a 100-hour campaign, you'll never get over 100 hours, you complete the game or explore it all, it's too much, blah, 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 but I'd rather have too much and too little. So let's get into the next thing he said here. So he was asking about the scaling level system and difficulty work together. Stefan replied, yes, it makes so enemies are still hard, which means that we could have even better, crazier weapons to match level scaling. Make sure the game is always fun, and you not always just rolling the enemies easily at every stage. So here basically he means that, yes, it makes the enemies hard still, which means that you can have crazier weapons to match the scaling. So that's good to know that the enemies and stuff like that are just not going to be base rolled through at every stage. It's going to be actually scaling, and they're going to be scaled up to your level, and they're going to be difficult no matter what type of content you're doing or no matter what area you're at, which is really nice. Let's get into the next question here. So here he talks about the world map. He says the map is a diamond shape. The further you get into the world, the more difficult the enemies will be. So if you just ran from the starting point far away on the map, you'll face the toughest enemies, just be massively underleveled. But you can do that if you want. So basically you can, once the world opens up, you can explore it anywhere you want. You can go to the hardest level enemies. There's going to be no restrictions or you can't go here yet until you do this in the main story. You're going to be able to explore the whole entire world in its entirety, which I like a lot. Gives that full freedom to do whatever you want. Now let's get into the next question. So here he asked next-gen performance. Stefan replies, you'll find out this week, maybe a new trailer this week. You'll know before the game launches what it looks like. So we'll know soon, sometime this week, what the next-gen performance is going to look like, what FPS it's going to run on. I'm assuming it's going to be 4K and 60 FPS. Well, that's what I would assume it would be running at. But definitely this week we'll see a trailer on the new gen, and I'll be covering that whenever that trailer comes out. The last question we're going to take a look at here, he asks, area objectives, are there hidden ones not shown on the list? Stefan replies, no, not hidden, but we don't highlight everything in the area in every area. Some may need side characters to tell you information to help you find them. We are making sure to hide them for you, so you have to discover them and go looking for them. Listen for an ice cream truck. It's a side character. Look for a yellow, then explain further. Side characters will hint towards hidden bunkers, etc. So I'm assuming he means when he says look for yellow is if you have what do you call game developers do this thing with every game to where they'll make a certain color their interactables or their so you kind of know which way you need to go when exploring an area, or you know where you can climb up, or so on and so forth. So I'm assuming yellow is going to be that color in this game. So look out for yellow when you're exploring the world. I'm assuming that's how you're going to know what areas you can exactly go to, or what, you know, where you can exactly climb up to, or what doors you can open, and so on and so forth. I kind of like that there's stuff that's going to be hitting, because that means that, you know, we're going to actually have to be able to explore the world, and we're not just going to be sitting there static in one area. We're giving emphasis on exploring everything. I like that a lot. But that's it for this video, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you definitely hit that like button. And if you found this video interesting, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'll be streaming on Twitch, so I'll have that link down in the description if you guys want to hit a follow there to get notified when I go live. I'll just be, you know, playing the game when it comes out. You can ask me questions there. But that's it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.